welcome to Satsang. And welcome to all the friends that join us online around the world. It's always this wonderful possibility that from this little place here, there are energy lines going all over this beautiful planet, connecting. And I think in a time like this, it's always nice to connect, but in a time like this it's really important. And we few here in Australia, we are so privileged. It's the only island, big island, that is not too much suffering from COVID. It's quite something. Karmically, maybe we have good karma, who knows? Or, Australia has done its job with the convicts, and this is kind of balancing the convict situation many years ago. I don't know, we can fantasize as much as we want. And did you ever investigate into your thoughts? Oh yeah, thank you. Very good, you're very present. Fantastic. We need that. It's already on. Can you hear me, everyone around the world? Give me a sign. Do like this if you can hear me. Do like this if nothing. Okay. Do I need to speak louder for you? Yeah. A bit more. Okay. Remind me sometimes, because when I go in, then the voice also goes in. Just with this thought or with this fantasy about Australia, what comes to me is this discovery that we can all make about our thoughts. Like whatever the thought is here right now, whatever moves in your head, just check if it has any roots. A thought appears, it stays maybe for a while, maybe it wants so much of your attention that you identify with it and you think you are it. But does it have any roots? It's like a cloud, no? Every thought is like a cloud that appears in the empty sky. And then we make it mine. No? And I think, and I believe, and there's so many interesting I's. There's the factual I's that love facts. Then there is the conspiracy theory I. That's very exciting. You can spin endlessly, a whole range of clouds that seem to have any connection with what's happening. And does it have any roots? And when we investigate a little bit deeper than just that play of clouds, then perhaps we discover that no thought that appears about anything has roots in solidity, in somethingness. Can you relate to that? Now it's so obvious, but if we bring attention to it, then there must be a space in which these clouds appear and disappear. Otherwise we couldn't be aware of it. And all it needs, if there's anything needed, is to just remember that we can never be what comes and goes, which is the clouds, which is the mind, which is thoughts, which is identifications, which is desires, which is resistances, which is all the wonderful play of personality. It doesn't mean we need to deny it or reject it or improve upon it or do anything with it, just to see, I just believed I am something. Anybody believes that you are something? Or someone? On a social level, maybe it's helpful to kind of, to give yourself a name so that we can talk to each other. But are you your name? We came here without a name. Then somebody, not you, but somebody said, you have to give him or her a name so that we know who that is. This is the whole beautiful game that many masters are playing, and Osho played it with us, to give us a new name. And it's a very beautiful exploration because, if you have carried a name for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, then so much baggage is attached to that name that created a certain identity, and how much time and effort and intensity we have put up to defend this identity. And maybe it has not even started with you. Maybe it started with the person that gave you a name. They projected some qualities in you or in me. I have a very, meaningful name. If I want to be someone, I can relate Fridtjof, which is my legal name, to the great explorer Fridtjof Nansen, who was the first guy who proved that the North Pole is not land, that it's drift ice. So my father knew the guy, and he was a great adventurer, so he gave me that name. It's quite a burden. Yeah, I tried hard. I tried hard to live up to it. Because I needed to beat the Fridtjof.
I've got a neighbour whose child is called Nirvana.
Yeah.
Not sure about that.
Nirvana, yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. There's nothing wrong in it when we remember that in which it all appears and disappears, which is who we are, which can never be defined, which can never be actually labeled. And yet we try so hard to label it. And we try so hard to make it something really special. Special when, we go on a spiritual search. The world is not so interesting anymore now. My spirituality is interesting. So all this is beautiful clouds. We don't need to reject them. But when we remember that any label we give anything, we give to anything, even the label we give to flower or to the rose or to the smell of the rose, The trouble is the moment we give it a name, our mind attaches to the name and forgets the rose. So in a way, us being here, I told Melly this afternoon, he said, I'm looking so much forward to Satsang. Why? Because it's such a wonderful excuse to step a little closer to the being, closer than thought, closer than labeling. And then suddenly, perhaps even inadvertently, our attention moves to the space in which we happen. Just get a sense of that for a moment. It's kind of it holds us not just in emptiness, it holds us into a full emptiness. Am I fantasizing, or can you get a sense of that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like then we discover there's many different silences. There's a dead silence when a machine stops making noise, and there's a rich silence. And then in the rich silence, any sound becomes very distinct, like that aroma lamp. This little splash is kind of point us to silence. And see, now I'm speaking a lot less loud. So, when I was tuning in today, a quintessence from Aurasoma came. Interesting, I thought another one came, but this one appeared here. So, we take this one then. No? The name here is Pallas Athene. For the new friends, the quintessences and the pomandas are part of the Aurasoma color care system that helps us to kind of bring attention to certain aspects of consciousness. And the quintessences, they attune us to essential qualities within, that we are actually here to allow to flower. So we could say we are born with so many gifts, with so much potential. And the potential is first there, maybe as a vibration, as a seed form, as a space. And then the miraculous way that happens that some of our essential qualities actually become manifest as an expression of creativity, manifest as form, or manifest as thoughts, or manifests as art, or manifests as an expression that is very, very unique. No one can express him or herself in the same way. So all comparison, of course, falls flat. But we begin to recognize our uniqueness. And the quintessence for today is called Pallas Athene. It's named after the goddess Athene, who is the guardian of the temple. Now in Greece, I don't know if anyone has been to Athens, to the Acropolis. That's where she's at home. But she's actually at home in our consciousness as we recognize our body and mind as a manifestation of the divine. And then the body is our temple. Osho spoke about this so many times, We, especially in India or in some spiritual circles, like the sadhus, or the traditional sannyasins in India, they deny the body, they deny the sexuality, they deny the celebration, they deny all the fun, and that makes you, of course, wonderfully holy, because you have to control everything. And the misunderstanding is that we have to deny the world in order to be spiritual, rather than allowing whatever experience comes our way to be held in the sacred temple of this body and this mind. And it starts, we talked a little bit about Tantra at the beginning, it starts with the love to yourself. This should be the most normal expression of consciousness, loving yourself. And how many trips we have about our body. Too little hair, too curly hair, too this, too weak, too small, too big, too fat, too old. We're getting there. And when you investigate, was anybody in Temple Byron last Tuesday? Except, yeah, you too, no? We had this beautiful, we had a different meditation. We didn't have the one that I wanted to talk about this. We had the humming meditation. Nada Brahma, thank you. The meditation, I know I did it online with the Japanese, where we started to explore the first chakra. And it is a meditation that Osho devised. He asked somebody who is a hypnotist, hypnosis teacher. She created this meditation called reminding yourself of the forgotten language of talking to your body. And it's a beautiful guidance. Maybe we should do this tonight. Mm-hmm. No? It's a guidance where you begin to have a dialogue with your body, and you allow the body to respond, and it gives you a beautiful discovery of your relation to the body. I think we do that after the Aurasoma. It points towards the recognition that this body is so precious. It's temporary, It wasn't there at the beginning. Then you were small, now we've been growing, now we're getting old, and then it will be gone. These roses are on a faster track, they come, they spread their fragrance freely, no hesitation. And tomorrow, day after, maybe they are gone. So if we are aware of this, then all our petty little problems that appear in the need to preserve a sense of self that is much more than just the body is futile, isn't it? And then in relationship, we want the other also to be according to my opinion. Does that work? It's a good recipe for relationship problems. So, to bring attention to the divinity of form, to the insight that the divine doesn't have any other body than yours or ours to experience itself. Basically, we are, it may be blasphemous for some of you, but we are gods. The first time came across this idea was in 1980 when I went to Pune for the first time, and they called this Indian guy on the podium. He came in white and we were all in red. They called him Bhagwan. That freaked me out because Bhagwan in English is God. And of course my comparing mind said, who does he think he is? He's a God, and we are just pure sinner, poor sinners. And we sit at the feet of God. What I didn't hear, that what he said at the same time, is that we are all gods. But this the ego couldn't hear yet. No? There is nothing else. The Sufis chant La ilaha illallah. There is nothing else than whatever we see is a manifestation of the infinite in form. Everything. The good, the bad, the right, the wrong, COVID and health, all of it. And how much identification with the body did COVID create? No? It's an interesting situation. And only a few around the world have recognized, well, body is here, but that's not who I am. I'm that which is aware of the body. You following that? It's so simple. No? It's called the Enlightened View. It sounds fantastic. It's so simple. Whatever appears can only appear in that which is aware in us. Which means I must be that which is aware of every experience. I'm never the experience. It's big, it's simple. Everything I think, I can only think because there is that which is aware of thought. Is that difficult? No. Is that strange? It's not a concept, it's just a very simple fact. I can never be any experience. And that is really freedom, because then I don't have to attach to an experience, I can enjoy it. I don't have to reject any experience because it's already there. It's passing, like try and reject the rain cloud. Cloud says, haha, I'm here as long as I'm here. And what is so amazing is these sudden manifestations of grace in this insight. Like this morning I was at 6 o'clock in Watergoes surfing, and it was pouring rain and it was freezing cold, but very nice waves. And then within half an hour everything shifted, and there was this incredible bright rainbow that was so bright because it was in front of a huge dark cloud. I said, wow, the dark cloud in this moment is not a terrible thing. It's the background for an incredible show. And then we get so fascinated. I mean, I got so fascinated by this full arc. And at the same time realizing it's a wonderful illusion, because the origin of these colors is behind me, the sun. I think I like this metaphor, because that which is aware is like the sun in the background. It shines on everything. Do you think the sun says, this is a weed, or this is, a dirty rock. I'm not going to shine on this one. I like that. But that's what we do. No? Choiceless awareness is simply being aware of that which appears in front of the mirror of our being. And that's a big killer, because it kills good and bad. It kills right and wrong. It kills high and low. It kills all comparison. It kills all judgments. It kills all superiority or inferiority. That which is aware has no opinion, no attachment or no rejection. Tilopa, in his beautiful book, Osho had this, my Bible, the Tantra, the Supreme Understanding. And it's basically the Song of Mahamudra from Tilopa. If you read this book, basically, and you understand it, you're finished. You're done. Now, I wanted to be wise and quote Tilopa, but I forgot what I wanted to say. Maybe it comes again. Yeah, Tilopa, one of his major messages is, be loose and natural. The only thing in us that makes an effort is the need to be something. Be loose and natural. It doesn't mean you don't do anything anymore, but every action appears from the infinite source within, and every action is surprising. That's one reason why I love to sit in satsang. I have no idea what the next word will be. I recommend that, It creates a very different conversation, because there's no preconceived concept, there's no need for justification, there's just what wants to be expressed. It's the same like if we have an artist here, a musician or painter. No? True art, true painting always comes from this space of not knowing, from no preparation, from a spontaneous response to now. But now we deviated a little bit. Let's go back to the temple. Pallas Athene. It's a vibration that we all know in moments of gratitude, in moments where the body and you are not kind of two different entities, where you are the body, where you love the body, where you are your emotions, where you love your emotions, where you are your thoughts, and where you love your thoughts, where everything is held in this invisible, wonderful field of love. Should we try? If you could all stand up, make your left wrist available. when you receive the goddess, let her not be outside of you. Let the vibration of Pallas Athene be an invitation to be that, the guardian of the temple, that can welcome the goddess. And her name is Mukha. And just, as we get a little bit more sensitive, just feel into that vibration. Close your eyes and just get a sense of this very subtle vibration. And then you can raise your arms high above the head. Imagine you're growing wings from the core of your spine to your fingertips. And then you can allow your wings to open and close above the ground, crossing over at the midline of the body, bringing the vibration of Pallas Athene into all the layers of your aura. Now when you open your wings, just open to the whole universe. When you close your wings, just bring that infinity into yourself. And then you can open and close your wings around the third eye. In the opening, imagine that you can draw aside the curtain of all your identifications, of everything you thought you are. It's like a curtain. And in the embrace, embracing the capacity to see reality just as it is, with no interpretation. And then you can open and close your wings around the throat. In the opening, drawing the curtain of all your beliefs, and all thoughts somehow are beliefs, more or less. And in the embrace, embracing that space that opens behind belief, which is the unknown. And as we are, exploring Pallas Athene, we're exploring the temple, but more that which is inside the temple, the sacred, the secret. And then you can allow your wings to open and close around the heart. In the opening another curtain, the curtain of all our shoulds and should nots that have created so much burden and pressure on the heart. And in the embrace, embracing your innocence, embracing the heart in its natural state, pure love, pure space, pure innocence. And allow your wings to rest over your heart for a moment, receiving the vibration of Pallas Athene deep in the silence of the heart. Then we can open the wings and embracing the solar plexus. In the opening, releasing our whole suit of armor, all our protections, releasing our weapons, our defense mechanisms, all our strategies. And in the embracing our uniqueness, that clear sunshine of joy, of just being an individual. There's no one like you in the whole universe. And then we can move to the second chakra, to the lower belly. And in the opening to all our emotions and to all the emotional hurts that may have happened in the past. And in the embracing that fresh capacity to feel. Our feeling potential is incredible. It's so vast. High and low, happy and sad, angry and peaceful, all of it is held here. All of it is welcome as a guest in the temple. And then, as we move to the first chakra, opening to the aliveness in this physical body. We didn't do anything for it, it just happened. And embracing this temple, this form, in the recognition that it holds within the divine essence. And then moving along the legs, around the legs, all the way down until you touch Mother Earth. And this is a good moment to let go. Whatever you're ready to let go of, any identification, any idea what you thought you are, just give it to the earth. For a few moments become completely empty. Empty of thought, empty of belief, empty of identity. Empty, empty. And in this moment you may recognize that even if we are totally empty, I'm still here. And what is that I? And then as you come up, allow your wings to unwind around each other in a backward spiral. It's like a symbolic gesture to release the remaining fibers of the holding mind until you stand open with your wings. The connection to the sky and deeply grounded in the earth. And then you can bring your palms together and your wrists close to your nostrils. And taking 3 deep breaths of this fragrance of Pallas Athene into the temple of the body. Very good. And then we can sit. So I want to dedicate the light of the candle today to the temple of the body and to one of Buddha's sayings, be a light unto yourself. And the blessings shower immediately. And a meditation, and if you agree, we go into the talking to the body meditation. Maybe we close it. So when you sit here, closing your eyes, just feel into your body, just feel your body sitting here. And this physical form, this body has many sensations, you know. Maybe some areas you feel very comfortable and good. Maybe there's areas that are a little stiff or painful. Just feel into the body. Very often during the day we completely forget the body. We are somehow on automatic pilot, doing so many things, following so many thoughts, and the body so generously follows even without our attention. So right now just bring your whole attention into the body. You can perhaps even scan it, just like an X-ray. We begin with the feet, and you feel your feet. And you will notice wherever our attention goes, our energy flows. So the sensation or the feeling will become more apparent. So you may want to feel your feet. They've been carrying you the whole day. And get a sense of your feet and the soles of your feet. And feel your ankles, these little bones that stick out, that create this beautiful, amazing joint that can support us in walking. And feel your lower legs, your calves. And you may notice just when your attention goes there, your relaxed attention, perhaps these parts of the body can gently begin to relax also. Feel your knees. The whole joint in the knee is so important for walking. Just feel how they feel right now. Maybe the knees are a little stiff, or maybe you've been walking today and they feel alive. And feel your thighs. These amazing, strong muscles that hold the body upright. And feel your pelvis, this whole pelvic floor, your genitals, your anus, your hips, this whole system. Get a sense of how your pelvis feels. Is it warm, cold? Is it irritated or flowing? Is it numb and you don't feel anything? And then bring your attention to the lower belly. It's usually where our emotions are sitting. Just feel if it's relaxed or tense. Don't change anything. We're just looking. And feel your upper belly, the solar plexus, that energy field that naturally reacts to many situations, like almost like a control center from where we want to control ourselves or control others. And sometimes when we are stressed, there's a stomach ache. And then further up, bring your attention to your chest, to your lungs. Taking a few deep breaths. These lungs are doing an incredible job absorbing oxygen, releasing carbon dioxide and many other things we can eliminate through the breath. And also the heart. Feel your heart. The physical heart is such an incredible, amazing motor, if you like, for so many years, non-stop. Whether we are aware of it or not, the heart, the lungs, and all the other organs keep us alive. And they do a much better job when the personal will doesn't interfere. And feel your shoulders and arms and hands. Get a sense whether there's a holding pattern or whether you feel relaxed and flowing. Maybe in one or two joints there's a little pain or a stronger pain. Don't fight it. And then come to your neck, to your throat and the neck. Have you expressed everything that you needed to express today? And whatever you didn't express may have stored itself in the throat. Feel your whole face. And the sides of the head with the ears. And the top of the head. And now that we have scanned the whole body, I'd like to invite you to begin to talk to your body. Perhaps you want to start with saying, "Hello, dear body. You have been carrying me for all these years and I have never thanked you for it. And I want to do that now." Now find your own words, and if you like, you can whisper or talk loud or talk silently. But it's good if it is a talk, like a dialogue, like a question, like an invitation to share with the body. Something like, I have given you so little attention, dear body. Is there anything that I can do better for you right now? And then you wait and you listen. And your body may have his own language, maybe through a feeling, maybe through a breathing pattern. But it may also have words telling you whatever it wants to tell you. Trust what's coming, even if you think it's imagination. Let your body talk to you. And dear body, you may have never had the opportunity to speak to me. And today I would like to invite you. And you can say anything. And I'm listening. Talk to me about your challenges. What seems to be difficult for life in this body? And what can I do better for you in the future? And then you listen. And then you can continue perhaps asking your body about touch, for example. Dear body, am I touching you enough? Am I caressing you enough? Am I giving you enough opportunity to be cuddled, to be hugged, to be massaged perhaps? Or is there anything I can do better for you now that my attention is there? And then you wait and let the body speak. And then if it feels right, you can ask your body, dear body, do I give you enough exercise? Would you like to go for more walks with me? Or is there any other activity or sport that I haven't supported you in? Maybe swimming, surfing, tennis, hiking, jogging. If you could be very honest with me, dear body, where could I support you in more? In which direction? And together with exercise, of course, I want to ask you, dear body, how is it with the nutrition that I offer you? Do you feel you're getting the right food, healthy food, food supportive to your energy? Or do I neglect you and just put stuff into you without even being present? You tell me, dear body, and this time I'm listening. And since we touched some activities and some food, I'd like to ask you, dear body, how's your situation with the work, with earning money, is it physical work or is it mental work? Am I listening to you enough so that you don't have to sit for 6-7 hours non-stop in front of the computer? How can I be more friendly to you, to save your eyes, to save your physical posture? And you listen. The body knows, it can tell you. Let it speak to you. And I want to ask you, dear body, how is it with you in meditation? Am I giving you enough meditation? Am I giving you enough breaks so that you don't have to tire your mind, so that you feel refreshed and creative rather than a victim of the have to? So many have tos in this lifetime. Is there anything that I can be supportive to you in to make your work life easier? And you listen to the body. Let it speak to you. can take a deep breath. And you can ask your body if there's anything we have been missing to talk about or to bring clarity to. And the body has its own wisdom and it can tell you. So you can ask, dear body, is there anything that we haven't mentioned where I can support you in? And I will do my best to do that. And then you listen. And then with the next deep breath, in the out-breath, we can melt even deeper than this whole dialogue, deeper inside, letting go into that infinite space that is aware of all thoughts, of all experiences, of all form. And rest here for a while. We will sit maybe 10 minutes or so, sitting silently, just allowing whatever appears in the screen of the mind. Let it come, let it be, let it go. You rest as this natural, peaceful climate. Feel this peace. Drink this silence. It is so precious, and it's you. It's like the open sky. And in a moment, when we come back to the surface, bring with you that quality, that depth, that peace, that quiet. It can move into every expression of your life. Just a little remembering. You can take a deeper breath and gently becoming aware of the body again. Maybe moving this body a little. Until you feel ready to open your eyes to a completely new moment here. And another deep breath and a good stretch back into form. Mm. Mm. So how did that go? Mm. Did your body talk to you? It knows it. Hmm? What body? The nobody. Mm. We can open this circle if you want to say something or ask, or also the friends around the world, if there's anything that you would like to comment or share or ask, please feel free. We can make it a dialogue. Mm.
saying that she's holding on to some survival patterns. That's it.
Most of us hold on to survival patterns. Hmm? And when we ask ourselves, well, what wants to survive? It is only the construct that we made, believing that this is me. Hmm? If we look at any fear, the basic fear is to not exist, to die. And this way, you could say meditation is this wonderful, gentle death. Because in sitting silently, in bringing your whole attention to that which is aware, which is pure space, where are you? Where is this me? Where is the solidity? This is why we put meditation at the end of our laundry list. I remember Osho talked so much about it. Every day he talked about, I have only one medicine, your sicknesses are many, but my medicine is one: meditation. Disidentify. Realize that whatever arises in the body-mind is not so important to be identified with it. But that's the fear. If I'm not identified with any thought or any belief or any expression or the body, then who am I? Do I find anything that I can label me?
And also the other.
Yeah, same thing, no?
This happened today. I got a message about this guy who wrote about the plan to depopulate the earth. This is in the 70s. With details of how it's going to happen. And it kind of freaks you out a little bit. And then I got in the car to drive here and I said, well, who is that? And this is consciousness too. It's just consciousness.
And it doesn't need much, it's just this tiny little shift of perception. No? Which changes everything. You know, in India or in the old scriptures or in the Buddhist teachings, there's so much talk about desire. You know, you don't have any desire, don't have any craving. Well, if you are not there, who has a desire? What did she say again?
I'm saying that I'm holding on to some survival patterns.
And who? So I can ask you, who is the one that sees it? Are you the survival pattern or are you the seer? It can become a mind game and then it's not worth anything. But if you let it sink deeply, I can only... This is something that dawned to me so much later than I realized, my God, how can I speak anything if there wouldn't be awareness? How can I perceive anything if there wouldn't be awareness? How can I hear, taste, smell, touch anything if there wouldn't be me as awareness behind it or closer to it. Can you relate to that? It's like this I is closer than anything. I is the very beginning. It's prior to any action, to any thought, to any feeling, to any belief, to any strategy, to any should, to any emotion. Without I as awareness, nothing of it would be there. Do you get a sense of that? And then when we ask, well, what is awareness? Is that an object? No. It's the word awareness is just a pointer towards the unspeakable. Lao Tzu called it the Tao, Buddha called it awareness. The Muslims call it Allah. We may call it consciousness. It's all these words. This is fascinating. All the so-called spiritual words pointing towards who we truly are not pointing to an object, are not pointing to an experience. They're not pointing to a sensory manifestation. They all point to emptiness. And then comes this wonderful conclusion that's freaked me out for a long time. When I heard Osho say, whatever you say, I'm not a person, I'm a presence. And as long as we are identified with the so-called person, because we create a collection of beliefs, of labels that somebody else gave us, and we make a sense of self out of it, and that's the person. And then we refine the person over the years until you realize, I have never been a person. I've only been an unspeakable presence in which aspects of personality appear and disappear. So, from that perspective, we are really not so important, no? Or that which is aware is the most important, but it's not personal. There's no you awareness and my awareness. There's no your presence and my presence. There's just presence. Feel free, you can ask me any question. It doesn't mean I have the answer, it is just it's an invitation. and perhaps become more and more to just sitting silently. No? What else is there to do?
Is there another way to say, where we say, I see this, I feel this, and whenever you say I this, I something, we're forming an identification around something. Is there another way to, because words have power, words have manifest. Is there another way to say things like that? Instead of saying I something.
There's some languages that work like this. Like, for example, in Japan, you're the Japanese master. No? In Japan, they don't say I eat. They only say eat. And you don't know who is eating. Is it me? Is it you? Is it her? Because it's just eat. No? Or see. Or many of the words that where we in the West put an I in front, they just have the word. But unfortunately, they also don't recognize that there is actually no I, even though they leave it beside. Is that right?
They still assume there's an I.
They still assume, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the moment you think you are Japanese, you're already caught. Or German, or Scottish. No? And there's nothing wrong in it. It is, you know, we love the labeling, just like we love to watch a movie. And we love to get identified because otherwise the movie is not capturing enough. No? So a really good movie keeps you busy till the end, pretending that you are in the movie, and just after, when everything finished, then only you remember yourself. Nothing happened. I've been sitting here. There was just kind of light and shadow on an empty screen. So we don't need to reject all this. But when there's a little bit of attention on that which is aware of it, the whole intensity of our holding on, of our interpretation, of our opinion relaxes. Because it doesn't really matter, does it? And in that relaxation, we discover that everything just wonderfully happens by itself, including what we call me. We are all happening by itself. No?
So the suffering's only happening in duality.
I would say suffering is only happening in identification. Because if I identify with one thing, I cannot be the other thing. If I identify with trying to be a good guy, I cannot be bad, and then bad goes underground and expresses itself in sabotage, for example. But if I don't mind, this was one of the amazing answers of Krishnamurti when he was asked, you know, how could you describe your awakening? He said, I don't mind what happens. That's it. It's very big. I don't mind what happens. Can you imagine if we wouldn't mind COVID? Like there is these mass movements where the mass mind attaches itself, and the pandemic is a fantastic you know, situation where so many minds attach, and then it becomes real. You know? It's only a tiny invisible thing that's called virus, and who knows if this virus even exists. But we're not going to go into COVID tonight. But when you know, this identification thing is something really interesting. When you start investigating, it's a great investigation, and there are these signs that you become, or I can say for myself, I become more and more sensitive to the signs when my mind identifies with something, because immediately I become narrow, I become tense, because then this me that took a certain shape wants to be preserved so that I know who I am. And with that comes the fear that it may change, which is all our fear of change. And so there's a whole huge tale of stuff happening simply by one identification, by consciousness taking one shape and pretending this is me. And then it's really joyous to become alert about this. It doesn't need to change. You don't need to try and not be what you identify with. The seeing of identification is already the end of identification. Until the mirror becomes so empty that whatever happens is simply reflected. And if nothing happens, there's nothing reflected. And those moments, you know, just before when we were sitting after the meditation, the real meditation actually happened there. It's like nothing. And when there's no content, then presence or awareness or whatever you call it, or consciousness, has no object to attach itself to, and it falls back onto itself. In India it's called Anand. That's kind of this blissful nothingness. Shall we release you into the blissful nothingness of this night? Night is beautiful, you know, when you go out and you look into the empty sky and you don't let the empty sky be outside of you. This is the beauty of darkness meditation. It's very recommendable. Sometimes just sit in darkness, where the eyes cannot create a shape from anything that they see. They just see darkness. And then the darkness outside is the space, the deep darkness inside. And with it comes this incomprehensible happiness for no reason. When the mind is involved and makes a shape out of it, it can become depression. When there's no thought about it, it can become bliss. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the wonderful excuse to be. Have a beautiful rest of the evening and a good night's sleep. And thank you everyone around the world to bear with me. We didn't say too much, but maybe we already said too much.
Said plenty.
So, thank you. Namaste.